Hi, in today's video I'm going to be covering an update to my trim-clip script, which is a script that uses ffmpeg to trim clips of audio or video on the command line to the millisecond. And what I've done is changed the automatic output file name, which previously included the date and time, and what I've done now is set it so that it includes the start time and the end point of the clip you're trimming. So let's have a look. What we've got here is Big Buck Bunny. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually come through and trim some clips from this and show you the automatic output file name. So what we've got here is 1 minute 24 67 667, and I'll just create a arbitrary clip length for this. So the way this script works is we run trim-clip-h and it will give you the help. And what we can see here are the options that we can use. -s for the start time, -i for the input, and -t for the duration of the clip. And optionally -o if you want to set a output file name. So what you've got to do is you specify the start time and then the duration after the start time for the length of the clip. You don't actually put in the end point of the clip, if that makes sense. What I'm going to do is come up here and copy this time code, and this is why tmux is useful for copy mode. So we're going to run trim-clip-s, and this is in sexagesimal format, which is hours, minutes, seconds and milliseconds. So we'll give it the start time, we'll give it the video, and we'll give it a duration. And what we'll do is we'll actually give it some numbers that aren't easy to calculate. So rather than just putting 30 seconds, we'll put something a bit more interesting. Say do 33 hours, seconds, 333, and we're not going to give it a output file name. So we'll press return, and you can see here it's going through the clip. And once I list the files, this should make sense. So now what we have is a output format that includes the start time and the actual end time here. So you can see we had a start time of 1 minute 24 667, and we gave it a duration of 33 seconds 333. So the end time is 1 minute 58. So what I'm trying to explain here is that rather than putting in the start time here and then the duration, that wouldn't really make much sense, because you wouldn't know how long. You'd know the duration of the clip, but you wouldn't know where it actually ended. You'd have to manually think, okay, 1 minute 24 plus 667 plus 33.333 to work out where it ended. So this is the new output format I've come up with, rather than using the date and time to give each clip a unique file name. So let's do this again. So trim clip start, we'll give it 5 minutes 05 55 750. So as you can see here, we can actually use milliseconds, Big Buck Bunny.mkv, and we'll give it a duration of say 13 675 and 675. And there we go. So you can see here we've now got the start time here and then the end time of the actual clip. So what we'll do now is switch across to Emacs and have a look at how this all works. So what we've got is the trim clip script here, the dependencies that are required to run the script. We've got the usage function that will be run if you run the script without any arguments or with the -H option to provide the help. And we've got the error messages, check number of arguments passed to the script. We've got the get-ops, and get-ops is the options passed to the script. As you can see, we were using the -S option, the -I option, -T, -O, -H, and these all correspond to these sections down here. So this creates variables like start, going to be equal to the time string and time code you put in for the start. The in file is going to be equal to the file name, like Big Buck Bunny. End is the duration, and -O for an optional out file name if you want to give it a specific file name. Then what we've got down here is the actual variables. So this is how we get the file name without the extension. So we need that so that we can construct the output file name. You don't want a file name that's like bigbuckbunny.mkv and then, you know, the time code and then .mkv again. So this is how we remove the extension. We then check the MIME type of the file, and this allows us to match it to video and audio MIME types down here, like QuickTime, Matroska, MP4, WAV, AAC, OGG, that sort of thing. And then what we've got down here is this is the new section, or convert start and end times from sexagesimal time to seconds. Add the start and end time to get the end point and convert from seconds back to sexagesimal time. So basically what that means is the sexagesimal time is hours, minutes, milliseconds. And you can't crack open a calculator and add, you know, 00:0030 plus 00:0060. It's not going to work. So what you have to do is convert from sexagesimal time to seconds and milliseconds, do the calculations, and then convert it back into sexagesimal time. So what we've got here is a variable called end time, and what we do is we echo the start and end times that you've added using the -S and -T options. So the start is the start time and the end is the actual duration of the clip you're creating. And then what we've got here is this bunch of awk code that I cannibalized from another script of mine called sexagesimal time, which converts sexagesimal time to seconds and basically subtracts the end time from the start time to give you a duration in sexagesimal time. So basically I've reused this chunk of code here. And then what we've got down here is the default for the file name if it's not defined using the -O option. So you can see here, video file default equals in file name start and then end time.mp4. And we've got this for each of the different MIME types down here. So let me just scroll down here. So what we've got down here is these are the different functions that correspond to the different MIME types. So we've got trim video for H.264, then we've got WebM, and what you'll see down here, this is the these are sort of the important bits. We've got the start here, so this is the start, the end time, the in file, and down here what we have is this section, out file, or it's got this colon equals $, and then video file default. So what this does is, if you specify -O on the command line and give it a out file name, like test, so I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so if I give this an out file name of test.mp4, it's going to overwrite the automatic file name with the time code and allow you to save the file with a custom file name, yeah? So what this basically does is, if out file is not set using the -O option, it's going to default to the default output file name with the time code. So you've got two options, it's flexible. And as you can see, we've got the same thing for all of these bunches of functions for these different MIME types. Okay. go down here. And then what we have at the end is a case statement. And what that does is basically checks the MIME type of the input file and then runs the corresponding function. So if it's a MP4 H.264 video, it's going to run that function. If it's a WebM file, it's going to run the WebM function, and so on and so on. So that's the gist of the script. And this is the output. So as I said, this is much more useful than having just the date and time, which I was using previously, so that we'd have a unique file name. So, you know, the files wouldn't be overwritten. But this is much more convenient because you can actually see, you know, the exact start time and the end time of the clips that you have created. So this is the trim-clip script, and this is part of a collection of ffmpeg scripts that I've written here. So you can see I've covered this in previous videos, so I won't go over this, all the scripts down here. But this is how you install the scripts, and this will work. These scripts will work on Linux, Unix, Mac, and Windows using the Windows subsystem for Linux. You can also actually use them with Segwin, and I actually did a couple of videos on how you can do that. Also, I have a German version of these scripts, and if we come down here to trimmen-clip, same thing, it's just in German. So I have used Google Translate to translate some of the comments and the help for the German script. So if there's any errors, please let me know and I'll fix them, because you know what Google's like with translations sometimes. So that's the trim-clip script and trimmen-clip in German, and this is the output. So hopefully that will make creating clips a bit more intuitive as to what you've actually done. So as I said before, I was creating something, you know, like can I do this? Let me see if I can something like dates, you know, or it hasn't got put the thing in, but oh yeah, sorry, my bad. Hang on. But I had to put the I forget what the flipping timestamp is, but there's a way to put the timestamp of the day, the year, the day, hours, minutes, seconds, that sort of thing, in the file name, and that's how I was doing it previously. Let me just delete those. And let me just play one of those clips for you, just so you can see MPV, Big Rat Bunny. If I put the you'll see that's 33,354. Sometimes you will you can, it depends on the keyframes. So best way to do stuff is actually play the video and actually sort of mark out the seconds, and you can press capital O on the keyboard in MPV and it will show you the current time code in the on-screen display, so you can actually sort of grab that, but you can actually grab it from the terminal here. And as I said, the best way to do that is to run tmux and use copy mode, so that you can actually come up and actually select the code like that, press Y on the keyboard, due to quit copy mode, and then you've actually got the time code there. So that's the best way to grab the time code rather than manually looking across at the video and typing it out and possibly making a mistake. So there we go. That's just a quick update to the script, which hopefully makes it a bit more obvious where in the video you actually created the clip from, rather than just having the date and time, which really is not going to tell you anything. It will give it a unique file name, but you're not going to be able to scan through a list of files just with the date and time and go, oh yeah, that's from, that's, that particular bit. So this will allow you to go through a video, chop it up into sections, and then actually see in the file name what that clip, what portion of the video that clip has come from. So I'll put links to all this under the video, and that's all for now.